Okay guys, I'm going to continue with the Q&A, trying to not make this into 4 parts, so as brief as possible. Do you only eat organic? Definitely not. We do try to make that choice when we can, but our budget is primary. What's your favorite food? It's a tie, I'd say, between cheese and fruit, any kind of either of those. What's the best thing about being a mom? I definitely feel fulfilled in a different way than I ever have before. Alice looks at me, differently than anybody else in the world, even Mike. And I just love seeing sort of the world through her eyes a little bit. Just seeing her learn new things and grow every day and being able to introduce her to the world is just totally awesome for me. What did you not expect about being a mom? I think I knew that I wasn't going to have a whole lot of time, but I didn't really know how much that loss is going to affect me. I think especially earlier in this first year, it was really, really hard for me to, go an entire week and not have really more than like 5 minutes of personal time to like write in my journal or do crafts or just take a walk by myself or make a phone call, whatever. Yeah, I guess early on that it's a whole lot more intense than even you can really prepare for. What's the worst thing about being a mom? I wouldn't say I feel like that negatively about anything, really. I feel like I've got it pretty good. How has your view of the future changed since having Alice? I'm just more excited for all of it. I just can't wait for all the things that we want to do with her, over the next 20 years and beyond. But I guess I do think more about what kind of world she's going to inherit, and it's a little bit more of a motivator to try to find the time, put the energy into some of the causes that I care about that'll, sort of make the future world that I'd like to see for her to have. Do you have goals for 1, 2, and 5 years away, or do you go with the flow? I have sort of some mental goals, but pretty much I go with the flow. Yeah, I'm definitely more of a goal setter than Mike is, I'd say. But we don't put like real strict sort of deadlines on things, not big things anyway. So we have a general idea, I'd say. What are the extended family dynamics as it relates to your little family? Does everyone get along? Yes, everyone in Mike's family gets along, everyone in my family gets along, and our families have really only been together a couple of times, at our wedding reception and then when Alice was born. But everybody gets along. They're, polite, and everything's been fine. Are you happy? Absolutely. If you could change one thing in life, what would it be? Well, I'm sure everybody wishes for more money, and it probably sounds sort of shallow, but it'd be nice if we had a little bit more of a cushion that I feel like would just give us more options, so our finances wouldn't factor so much into the size of family that we want to have, or we wouldn't have to be so concerned with like down to the last detail of how we spend our money, how much we're working, that kind of stuff. If we had a little bit more of a cushion, maybe we could visit family more or bring them out here to spend time with Alice, and that would be really nice. What do you feed your cat? I was not expecting this question. The cats get sort of pretty much like regular food. We use Science Diet dry food, and we use like the senior diet because the older cat has health problems. Do you buy Alice's or your clothes secondhand? Yes, almost exclusively. There's a pretty good thrift store here that I always have some luck at. I have been wearing secondhand stuff, either inherited from my sister or my mom or friends, that sort of stuff for many years, so I have no qualms about it. I generally am not a shopper. I've never been a big, go to the mall, go to the store and buy a lot of clothes for myself. So for me, it's mostly like functional. And if I find stuff that I like and fits pretty well for cheap, that's what I'm going to do. Alice, yes, most of her clothes are secondhand. We got a lot of hand-me-downs. I do get a lot of stuff at the thrift store. We don't have like a very good children's consignment. Actually, we don't have like a children's or baby consignment shop here. And to me, they're just really close. They serve a purpose, and they don't have to be like the most adorable things, that's not what's important in life to me. Do you make some of Alice's clothes? Yeah, I've made a few things. I've crocheted a few sweaters, some things that don't fit her yet. I made like some hats and baby booties and that kind of stuff. And I have fabric and patterns to make things when she gets a little bit older, dresses, leggings, stuff like that. Where do you get your recipes from? I have a lot of cookbooks. I did the cookbook tag recently where I shared my top 5. And definitely a lot just online. I just do random searches. What do you do to be green in your household? We do a ton. We grow some of our own vegetables and herbs. We always use reusable bags at the grocery store. We line dry a lot in our clothesline in the back. We do not use the air conditioner and the heater very much. Just sort of the bare minimum that we can tolerate. Oh, we make our own cleaning products. We use rags rather than like paper napkins, and we have cloth napkins also instead of paper towels, you know, whatever, that kind of stuff. What websites or blogs do you regularly visit? Not a whole lot. I just sort of skip around and I do a lot of social media stuff. I follow my sister-in-law and a couple of people on Tumblr. Definitely YouTube takes a lot of time. I do have a YouTube Facebook account now that I'll log in every few days or something. There's one blog in particular that I have been following for several years just because I think it's gorgeous. And it's called something like Soulemama or Soulemama. It's SOULEMAMA.com. And it's this woman, Amanda Blake Soule or Sewell, I don't know how you pronounce her name. She has like 5 kids and they have a homestead in Maine. They just have this gorgeous life. She homeschools. She's always doing interesting things with her kids. They raise a bunch of animals. It's just beautiful. She's a great photographer and they're just always doing projects that I would love to do. So that is one I've been following for years, and I just go and just sort of dream about having that kind of life. Okay, a couple of people asked why I decided to give up vegetarianism. I was a vegetarian for I think about 13 or 14 years, and when we lived in Alaska, I just started thinking about starting to eat seafood again because to me it made sense. Being up there, food is shipped from the lower 48, which is like thousands of miles. There's a lot of resources that go into that. And I just felt like it was a better choice at that time to get a fishing license and fish. And we dug for clams and we fished for salmon, and we were able to, get food that way, really locally, and it's really healthy stuff. We also had a friend up there who raised chickens. So we started, little by little, I started eating her chickens, and I just started feeling really good. So just gradually I've increased the variety in my diet, and I feel better having more variety. And previously I did rely more on processed, like vegetarian alternatives to things, and I just don't like that. I just don't think, I don't think eating a soy imitation of something is better than just eating the thing itself, really. So I do still try to only buy products that are not tested on animals. So that's something that is still very important to me. And I also don't eat pork or beef, but it just works better for our family at this point for all of us to sort of have the same diet. Okay, what is your favorite kind of wine or adult beverage? I do love red wine. I'm sort of allergic to it though. I'm allergic to the sulfites in red wine and other stuff like dried fruit. I just get headaches and feel all allergic and stuff on my face. But I love it, so we'll drink little bits of red wine anyway. I also like IPAs, India Pale Ale beer. Do you think you'll be raising your family where you currently live? No. Yeah, I think sort of answered this. Does Alice have a particular object she is attached to? No. I've tried to get her to sort of have like a, favorite stuffed animal that would help her sleep in her crib, take naps, that kind of stuff, and she just isn't interested at this point. She's not like imprinted onto anything in that way. She's never taken a pacifier. There have been nights when I'm like praying, like wishing that you would just take the pacifier, but no. Okay, what do we do for our nighttime routine? We dinner together as a family. Right after dinner, we start the bath and we alternate nights. Mike and I get in the bath with Alice. It's sort of like a special time for us to spend just with her. She really likes the attention, and she enjoys the bath more. Plus, for us, it's just easier than like leaning over the tub. So we take a bath with her and play around a little bit for about a half an hour. The opposite person who gave the bath then dresses her for bed, brushes her hair, plays some nighttime music on one of her toys. Read some books if she needs help winding down, and then I lay down with her in our bed and nurse her to sleep. That's always what we've done. We've never done any sort of sleep training per se. I have read one book, The No Cry Sleep Solution, to get some better ideas about just as she gets older, sort of different techniques to try, like if we want to change our routine, and to try to get some help with napping, although it wasn't huge on napping. Alice has always slept through the night pretty well. I feel like it's just your child's temperament. From early on, she's just been that way, so it's been a blessing. But we just sort of go with the flow, and I feel like we just do what's worked up until this point. So I don't have any real wisdom there. Have you read any books to help you prepare for parenthood? Not really. I read a lot about pregnancy and a lot about birth, but I did not read a whole lot about parenthood because I just felt like we would rely on what came intuitively, and Mike and I it'd be a process of figuring out what works for us together just as time goes on, and that you kind of can't get that from a book. If you could go back to when Alice first arrived, would you change anything you had done, or is there something you have learned about being a mom that you wish you had known earlier? The only thing I would love to change, we have no control over, and that was the fact that Alice was sick in the NICU for the first week of her life. That, I think, I will regret, and that will pain me for my whole life. I don't think it is a result of any choices we made with the type of birth that we had, any choices that we made along the way. I don't think it was anything that could have been prevented. It's just what happened, and that's just the hand that we were dealt. But I hate it. I just, like I said, I just don't think I'll ever get over it. So if there was some way to wave a magic wand and change anything, that's what I would have changed. But really, there's no way to do it. Okay, I'm skipping some duplicates. I hope you don't get upset if people worded things slightly differently, but I feel like I've already covered the topic. Okay, when are you going to visit Nebraska? I don't know, but I'll let you know. Trust me, if I am going to Iowa and Nebraska, I'll try to connect with people.